7 operating system in the Virtualbox, and yesterday I've already shown you under the settings. Um, you can go to network tab and then advanced. You can expand advanced, and then the port forwarding. You can see I have clicked on this add button uh, to add a new port forwarding rule. So from the host loopback address on the host port 2200, I'm forwarding the connection to the virtual machine, the CentOS machine. On any IP address of the CentOS machine, I'm forwarding it to 22. So port 22 is used by SSH service, secure shell. SSH is used for remotely connecting to servers. Okay. So that being said, yeah, now from the host operating system, I'm issuing the command. So you can run this command on the MOBA Xterm software that you installed yesterday. Yesterday I shared the link for the MOBA Xterm, so you can use that link to download and install it. So this is the link, MOBA Xterm download. You can download Home Edition, and once it is downloaded, you can extract it and install it. On top of this, once you install it, you will get something like this terminal, and on top of the terminal you can run a command like this, ssh-p 2200, and the username which you have created while installing the CentOS 7 operating system, and then at the rate loopback address. So this will allow us to connect to the, so you can see I'm connected now. Karthik at the rate CentOS-server -1. This is the machine name, host name, or the server name as it called, and this is the username with which we logged into the system, and this represents the home directory. So the home directory is pwd /home/Karthik. Okay, so increase the font size. Okay. Process management. Okay. So in a very basic form, Linux processes can be visualized as running instance of a program. So when you run any application within the system, in the background, a process of that particular application or the program keeps on running in the background. So this process is managed by this process consumes certain resources within the system. It consumes the CPU power, and it consumes memory, memory as in the RAM, and it can also consume certain amount of storage as well. So to what extent? So when it comes to a process, what kind of details are important? So which user is running the process within the system, and what amount of resources is the process consuming? Like what amount of CPU is the process consuming? What kind of memory is it consuming? So we need to be aware of these details, because within the system, when you run certain applications, they might consume a lot of resources, and that might slow down the entire system. So in such a case, you need to figure out what is it that is causing the process to consume more resources. If it is legitimately consuming the resources, does it then legitimately need all the resources that it is using? If not, what is the issue with it? So this kind of helps in terms of debugging and all. So I hope you understood what is a process. A process is nothing but a running instance of a program or an application within your system. So you can open a VA editor, or you can open any command that you run is nothing but in the background. Whenever you execute any command in the Linux system, a kind of a process related to that particular command will be initiated. Because when you run a command, it is nothing but in the background you're executing a script. Command is nothing but a script which gets executed. It is a kind of a program. It has its own set of syntax, rules, and arguments. So all these details are part of on the commands I told you in the very beginning of the class under slash bin or slash sbin or slash usr bin or slash usrs bin, all the commands scripts are stored there. So when you run the commands, basically the scripts under those directories are get executed, slash bin or slash sbin. Example, let's see, ls slash bin. There is one command called as, you can see which command, which ls. This kind of which command is used to see the location of the commands. So you can see ls command is located under slash usr bin ls. So you can see which pwd slash usr bin, which add is under slash usr has been, which sudo slash usr bin sudo, which what other commands have we executed so far, hist or by history, which tell me some commands that we used before. PSSWD also to assign the password to the users. Likewise, as you can see, the location, these are all command, the scripts related to different commands. All that you see in that, this is under bin folder. So all these are nothing but scripts related to certain commands. You might not be using, you might not use all the commands directly. Some of the commands or the scripts are used by the different processes at different stages. Sometimes some scripts could be used at the startup of the system. Okay. So to see the running process, the current running process within the system, you use the command ps. ps-a will list the ps-ax will list the running processes within the system. So you can see all these processes. So it is showing command. So these the first column represents the process ID of that particular process. So you can see I executed ps-ax, and you can also see that as well. So as I told you, any command that you run in the system, it gets initiated as a process, even if it is for a few moments or a few seconds. Still, it will be executed as a script or a process, and you can see it. Okay. So as I told you, every process is assigned with a unique ID called as process ID. Processes are fundamental to Linux, as each and every work done by the operating system is done in terms of and by the processes. This is because any work that is intended to be done requires system resources. As I told you already, um, all these processes consume the resources, be it CPU or memory or the storage. So we have different set of terminals, as you can see here, TTY. So from you can actually switch terminals, Control Alt F1, try it out and see what it means. So basically, these terminals are used to serve the purpose of multi-user, introduced in the beginning of the Linux operating system. But these now are no longer much relevant and doesn't carry that much importance. So we have already seen ps-a. To see if you run ps-a, it will just show you the processes that are running in the current terminal. If you run ps-ax, it kind of shows you all the processes. So ps-au ps-au show you the process um, with the user who initiated the process. So you can see the first column is shows the user who started the process, in the process ID, in the CPU consumption and the memory consumption, and some other additional metadata. Along with, at the end, you can see the process. Process is nothing but command. Okay, now we can open ps hyphen e. This also shows the list of all the processes. So ps-ao. So this kind of helps us to see the specific options device com PID. If you want to see only that user PID, so you can see only the three columns of the process are executed. So you can see I just executed only these resources. ps-axo user PID com. See the CPU and memory resources also you can do it, but see how do we can find a help for a command. Let's suppose you are running a command, but you forgot the arguments that you want to use with it. So if you want to see, you can use man command, and you can run give the command name, so that will open the manual of the particular command. You can see all the arguments that you can use with this particular command, and you can see it's too big. You can go on and on and on. So similarly, if you want, the other way to see the arguments or the help, the useful information related to the command is, I said, give the command and type hyphen hyphen help. This is the way of doing it. And yeah, so for here in our case, I want to take a look at the manual pages for the PS command. So here you can see so many different variations. So pcpu, I'm especially looking for to get the details of the CPU usage and memory usage. Okay, here you can see um, the additional options of time. Okay, that's sufficient. Let's try it again. Here, let's give vCPU. Now, okay. So now we can see CPU and memory usage as well. So basically, these are the important metadata that you want to see that is associated with the process. So this is like static information that you are seeing here. But if you want to see live information, just give the command top. When you give top command, you can see the total CPU consumption and total memory consumption, how much of the RAM memory is free, how much of the swap memory is being used, and how much of the swap memory is free. So to put it simply, swap memory is nothing but the it is like what do you say, a fake RAM, that I would say. So this uh, swap is like it is also used by running processes, just like for the RAM memory. But the thing is, the storage that is supplied, the memory that is supplied for the swap is from the hard disk. Unlike the RAM, RAM has its own hardware chip, but the swap, it consumes the storage from your system. And if you see that the processors are starting to use swap memory, it means your RAM has been consumed, and it is overflowing, and then it started consuming swap. So swap memory ideally is consumed when your RAM is totally used up. So at the moment you can see swap memory is not at all used, and here you can see the RAM is being used. The total size of the RAM is shown as some kind of 1 GB, maybe 1.8 GB maybe, and around 1.5 GB is free, and I'm not sure, it is 15, it's a bit less. uh, so what you can do is, for top also you can have different options. So it is showing in kilobytes, as you can see. So you can see whatever the numerical value you are seeing is it is using it in kilobytes. Okay. And as we are using a virtual machine, and we are not running memory or CPU intensive processors at all, so that's the reason why you are not seeing much of a usage here. Even the CPU percentage is very less, and the memory is also used quite a bit less, not much. Okay, so top command gives you the live usage of the resources by different processors. And for example, here in this particular column, you can see CPU usage and memory usage, which are important for us. So I'm pressing Shift P now. So you can see what it does when I press Shift P. What it does is it sorts the column in what do you say, ascending or descending order, where the higher CPU, the process that is consuming the higher CPU is shown at the top, and the one that consumes lower is shown next to it, below it. So if you want to see the processes that are consuming high memory to low memory, then you can press Shift M. I just press Shift M. Now we can see 1.6 for 0.9, 0.7, 0.64, 3, 0.301. So likewise. So this is the top command is highly used because it gives you live information of the memory, CPU and memory consumption of different processes within the system, and you can use up and down arrow to scroll up and down. And if you want to come out of it, you can have to press just Q. And here also you can see the uptime of the system. The uptime of the system right now, I started it just 27 minutes back, so you can see 28 minutes it has been since the system has started. So I just pressed Q to quit, so I came out of the top commands. If you want to use a specific process ID of a process, and if you are aware of the process name, then you can use PID of, you can give the process name. Let's pick so let's pick cron D, PID of cron D. So here I wanted to get the process ID of the this particular process with the name. So I know the name of the process, and I can use this command PID of, and it gave me the process ID. So you can see here the process ID. So sometimes the reason why we use this command is, let's suppose some unwanted resource is consuming a lot of resources. So in such a case, and then we want to stop the process. So we can use a kill command and we can stop the process. Gedit ampersand G gedit EAM I want to start a process in the background and I want to kill it. What process can I start in the background? Let's see. So basically, PID of command is used to see the process ID of the process and kill. And if you want to kill the process, you have to kill space in the process ID of the process. So gedit is a kind of editor, just like VA editor, but it is graphical editor. But we are not using. We are currently in the command line utility, so we cannot use it. We are using a minimal operating system. We are not using graphical user interface, so we cannot use gedit at the moment. I want to run a command in the background. So for that, what I will do is so let's try to just randomly run just command and I will redirect the output slash null. This greater than symbol is basically used to redirect the output of a command to a particular file. So here we are redirecting it into a null file. It's kind of a black hole. So there is no command with the name command. So it would simply generate an error. So we are simply forwarding it to that file. So ps-a. We have another command ping google.com. I forgot this. This is the ping command is highly used to check the connectivity. So between we will see this again when it comes to network management commands. So if you do this, so if you see a continuous output, you are seeing some data being received from google.com. So this represents that there is an established connectivity with google.com. So we are able to connect to google.com. So it is continuously running. So to stop it, I can press Control C. So now it has been stopped. So but in case I want to run it in the background, I can give the command. I can press ampersand. So it keeps on running in the background. I can just press enter. It will keep on running, as you can see. So right now, if I want to PID, Control C, PID of ping. Let me open a new terminal. Let me connect to it. So now this command is being executed in the background, and you are still able to you can see the output is still being generated. So here, if you can see ps-ax, ping command can also be seen somewhere. So I will grep it. So to grep, oh my god, the pipe symbol I cannot use in my keyboard. on the keyboard. I want to use pipe symbol. I'm not able to use it. Shift. I will do simply PID of ping. So you see two of the process IDs. So here in this case, let's see here 17. Yeah, here you can see ping google.com. I ran the command twice. So now, if this is kind of interrupting us, it is continuously going on. So in such a case, what we can do is, if you want to kill the process, give kill command, kill 1717774. Let's see what happens. It is still continuing. So there is one more process, 1773. Now it's stop. See, they are terminated now, both the processes. So kill command is used to terminate any process. So just in case, if you want to forcefully close the process, then you can use kill hyphen 9 option. That will forcefully kill the process. Kill all and name of the process. So here, if you want to all, there could be, so for example, for the ping command, there are two instances of running processes. I executed it twice, so there are two instances of ping command, two processes basically. So if I wanted to, instead of killing by taking the different process IDs, I can directly kill it using this command, kill all, and you can give the process name. That will kill all the processes associated with that particular process name. And if you want to kill the processes that are initiated by a particular user, pkill hyphen u and give the username, and all the processes that are associated with the particular user will be deleted. Pkill and name of the process. This is also used for killing a process with its name. Okay. Hmm. So other important files that are related to the process information, class slash etc proc, sorry, slash proc CPU info. So here you can see the CPU related information, and here you should be able to see memory related information. So so in the one, when I open top command, from there also you can kill a process. You can just give. So I sorted it using memory and CPU. Shift P and Shift M to sort based on the memory and CPU usage from a high level to low level of the processes. To see a process of the particular user, you can press U and give the username. And to kill a process from the top command, you can give K and kill it. So let's run the ping command again. Okay. So now let's see PID of ping. So there is only one process name. So now here what we will do is, let's go to top command, and from here, basically top view. I pressed U, and you can see here which user it is asking. So I will give my username Karthik. So you can see all the processes that are associated with Karthik user, top SSHD and ping. So and you can see the process ID of the ping command is 1833. So now I will give the command K. So it is asking PID to signal kill. So 1833 I will give it and press enter. Yes. So now you should be able to see I'm going to the first terminal now. So now you press enter, it is terminated. So from the top command as well, you can kill the resource, or you can sort the resources using sort and visualize the resources using a particular for a particular user. Okay. So this is about process management. Now let's continue with let's cover disk management tomorrow, because you might get confused. It's better to start a new concept tomorrow. So I will start the disk management tomorrow completely. So in the meanwhile, I will try to recap yesterday's session, so that as it is not recorded. So let me continue with that. So let me try to quickly recap yesterday's session. So yesterday we covered we started the session with the user and group administration. So under user and group administration, the important files that are associated with the user and group administration are /etc psswd and /etc shadow and /etc group. So psswd file under etc directory contains users related information. This can be sometimes students get confused thinking that PASSWD as a name implies it should contain passwords information, but that's not the case. It only contains user information. And the shadow file under etc directory contains passwords information. The passwords are not in plain text format, they are in MD5 hashes. And the group file contains groups information. Groups are nothing but logical collection of users. And yeah, we have seen these commands as well yesterday. So the commands related to the highly used command that are related to user administration, get and PASSWD and username. This will fetch the user details. And user add command to create the user account, user mod to modify the existing user account, user del to delete the user account. And similarly, group related commands we have seen, get and group name, that will fetch the group related details. We have used group add command to add the groups, and we have added users to the group using gpsswd-a command, and using gpsswd-d we deleted the user, and using gpsswd-m we can modify the users in the group. So yeah, group del to delete, group mod to modify the group related information. And the other important thing is there are three types of user accounts in the system, that is root account and service accounts and normal or regular accounts. So you can log into the system using root or normal or regular accounts. It is ideally not suggested to use root account to log into the system, because root is like, so root is the administrator account or super user who has all the privileges within the system. So by mistake you perform some operation, and it can be catastrophic to the system, and you will not be able to log in, or the some applications might not be running as expected. So it is not suggested to use root account. So normal users will not have all the privileges. You need to give privileges to the normal users to be able to do anything. uh, yeah, so for example, in my current system, the normal user is Karthik. I gave him admin privileges, so he is able to use sudo. A sudo command is used to give admin privileges to the normal users. So yeah, even then they will not have all the privileges compared to root, but more or less they get the admin privileges. So we have seen yesterday in the shadow file, double exclamation means there is the password has been not assigned to the user, and the user cannot log into the system. If you see this empty, password is removed to the user, and user cannot log into the system. So let's check it out, all these files once again. Cat PSSWD file. So you can see the user related information. Uh, Username, user ID, group ID, primary group ID of the user, the user related description, here it is empty, and then the home directory of the user and the shell of the user. So if you see for the service accounts, for example, SSHD user account is a service user account, and you can see slash has been no login. So you can, this user account SSD cannot be used to log into the system. Wherever you see slash has been no login, the users cannot log into the system. Okay, now let's see cat slash etc shadow. So you can see I do not have, for the Karthik user, he doesn't have the privileges to see the contents of shadow file. So in such a case, what I can do is I can use sudo cat, and it is asking me the password of the user. I gave the password, now you can see. So sudo can, you need to use sudo. Sudo can be used by the users who have the privileges to use it. Every user do not have the permissions to use the sudo. So when I was installing the operating system, I gave admin privileges to the user Karthik. So that is the reason why he is able to use sudo. That way he is able to execute certain commands where he, or the see the contents of a file where he doesn't have access because he has admin privileges. So you can use sudo command to execute certain commands with admin privileges, which require admin privileges. So here you can see there is no password assigned to it for SSHD service account. But if you can see for Karthik user account, the password has been assigned and it is an MD5 hash. Okay, even for Ben user, it is an MD5 hash. For Tom user, we have not assigned any password yet. So yeah, so this is about uh, user and password related information. Similarly, we can see cat slash etc group. You can see the group names here. Yesterday we created HR group, and you can see the groups with the name of the user accounts Karthik, Ben, Tom. So whenever you, I'm repeating it again, whenever you create a user account within the system, a group with the same name will be created. So for example, if I create a user account with the name Vishnu, a group with the same name will also be created. So let's see it again. User add Vishnu. Karthik user does not have privileges to add the user, so I will use sudo. So now the user has been added. So how do we verify? So we can use getend. We can use getend psswd Vishnu. So the getend psswd command is to see the user information details. The syntax is getend psswd and give the username. So now you can see the user Vishnu and the user ID, group ID, and his home directory and the shell he has access to. So here, now if we want to see the groups he is in, his primary group, if you, let's see, I told you that a group will be created with the same name, right? But if here, just now I dumped the contents of the group here using cat command. Using cat command, we can see the contents of a file. So cat space and give the file name. So it has dumped the contents of the group file. Okay. So here, right now, until before I executed user add Vishnu, you were not able to see the Vishnu related group information. His primary group is not there. But as I just mentioned, when if you create a user account, a group with the same name will be created, and that is called as primary group of the user. Okay, so now let's dump the contents of the file again, cat slash etc group. Now at the bottom, you are able to see Vishnu, a group with the name Vishnu. So that is the primary group of the user Vishnu. Okay, so yeah, we can delete user del Vishnu. So yeah, we need sudo privileges. So wherever I do not have access, so I'm not able to, as a Karthik user, I'm not able to run user del command, and the permissions were denied. I do not have permissions to run the command directly. So when it requires admin privileges to use user del command, so in such a case, I have to use sudo. But to be able to use admin privileges, the user must be assigned admin privileges. So for the Karthik user, I already assigned admin privileges at the installation, during the installation. Basically, we can see it further when we cover the concept of sudo users concept. Okay. We have seen group add command, grgo up add finance, group add finance. Still, I do not have privileges. Sudo. So now let's see cat slash pc group. Now you can see a finance group has been created, but there are no users associated with this finance group. So I will add users to this group now. So I will add Tom and Ben to the finance group. Okay. So the way to add is GPA hyphen A Tom, and you can give Ben as well space and give the group name finance. So let's use one user at a time. And I need to use sudo at each instance. So instead of that, I will directly switch to root account, and then I will run the commands gpswd. So now let's check the contents of @/etc group. Now we can see Tom and Ben users are added to the finance group. Okay. So that is about it. So I'm just recapping, so I will not be covering all the concepts. So I'm just going quickly. So now let me try to cover the file permissions. So let's yeah. So to see the file permissions, what is the command we have to use? ls-l. So ls-l command shows us the will list the files along with the file permissions. So as you can see here, yesterday as I told you, the file permissions are divided into three parts. Okay, so the first part represents should draw a diagram, but I will do that later. Fine. So here, the first part, as in here, so the hyphen at the beginning represents a file, and if you see a D, it means a directory. And the first part, read, write, and hyphen. So here you can see read, write, and execute. R stands for read, W stands for write, X stands for execute. So here, this first part of the permissions represent the permissions for the user owner on the file. So the user owner on this file is root, and the group, and this is the user owner on the file, and this represents the group owner on the file. So this is the primary group of the root user. So if you see here on file 2, Tom is the user owner, HR is the group owner. So for the HR group, the permissions are read and execute. There is no write permission. And for other users, apart from, so Tom and the users who are present in the system, they have these permissions. Apart from the users who are not present in HR group, and including Tom, there could be other users in the system. So the last set of permissions represent the permissions that are for the other users within the system. So other users do not have any permissions here. But if you see file 3, the other users have read permission within the system. So let me try to elaborate it a bit. So get and group. Tom is in that group. Get and finance. So Ben is in this group. So what I will do is now, so using ch mod, you can change the permissions. So actually we have seen, but to change the ownership on the file, we can use ch own, and let's use Ben, and let's use the file name, file, file 3. Let's use file 3. So let's take permission from file 3. second group HR. So right now you can see Ben user is the owner on this file 3, and let's change the ownership chgrp, and let's change the ownership on this file to um, HR group file 3. In the HR group, you can see Tom user is present. And let's check the permissions on this file. You can see Ben user is file and only Tom user is present. But within the system, we also have, let's see how many users we have. Cat slash etc PASS WT. We have Ben and Tom. So on this file 3, so the other users have read permission. So in such a case, in here, Karthik comes under the category of other user. Okay, yeah, because he does not fall in to the user owner, because the user owner is Ben on this file, and and the group ownership is to HR group. Under the HR group, only Tom is present. Tom doesn't have, so Karthik doesn't fall under the HR group. So the other users within the system, you can there could be other 10 users, so they will have these permissions, this set of permissions. So yeah, and if you want to change the permissions, let's see how to change the permissions. Yesterday, as I covered, R stands for read, write stands for execute. So read means a user can open and read the file. Write means a user can edit the file. Execute means a user can execute the file as a program. So let's suppose you have written a shell script in a file, and if you're not able to, if you do not have execute permissions on the file, you cannot execute it as a program. And similarly, on directory, if you have read permission, a user can see the directory, or yeah, if you have write permission, you can, a user can create or delete files in the directory. If you have execute permission, you can enter into the directory. So when I say enter, you means to enter into a directory, we use the command cd to enter or change into that particular directory location. So if you do not have execute permissions, you will not be able to enter or move into that particular directory location. So let's see. The user owner is represented with U, and the group owner is represented with G, and O. Other users are represented with O. And to add the permissions, we use plus symbol. To remove the permissions, we use minus, and to replace the permissions, we use is equal to. This is symbolic mode, and let's try it out. ls-l file 3. Take this. So here I will use chmod. For the user owner, I will give rwx. I will give full permissions, comma. For the group, I will remove the read permission. I am doing g minus r, so there would be no permissions at all. Or else for g, what I will do is I will add rw. I will give read and write permissions and replace. So it will replace r with rw for the group owner. For others, I will completely remove the existing permissions r. So all the permissions, file 3. This is symbolic mode. Let's check the permissions. Now you can see for the user owner, uh, rwx. So you can see I added rwx, and for the group I replaced the permissions to rw. So you can see from earlier it has only r, now it has changed to rw. Earlier the user owner has rwo minus, means there is no execute permissions, but just now I added here for the user owner read, write and execute permission. So execute permission is also added here. But for other users, I removed the read permission. So earlier the other users have read permission, but now no permissions at all. So this is a symbolic more way of doing changing the permissions. Now let's see the numerical mode. So we are using chmod command to change the permissions. Remember that. Okay. So in numeric mode, or it is also called as absolute mode, the read value is 4, write value is 2, and execute value is 1. Okay, so if you add all these values, for example, Let's suppose if the user owner has all the permissions, read, write, and execute. It means the value is 4 plus 2 plus 1, 7. Okay, and 5 means 4 plus 1, that is read and execute. So let's see this. Let's try it out. Chmod, and let's give 700 file 3. What happens? The user owner will have all the permissions, but group and others will not have any permissions at all. Okay, so I can play around. Chmod 600 file 3. So you can see 6 read value is 4, write value is 2. So 4, sorry, read value is 4, yeah, write value is 2. 4 plus 2 is 6. So you can see that is the reason why the user owner got read write permissions, and read value is 4, execute value is 1. So that is the reason why group got read and execute. Similarly for other users. So this is how you change the user owner, sorry, the permissions on the file using chmod command in numerical or absolute mode. Okay. Okay. Yesterday we have also seen umask value. So umask value is the value with which kernel can identify who is going to create a file or a directory. So the root user has a umask value of 000, 022, and normal user has a umask value of 002. So for root you can say 22, and for normal users it is only single 2. So default permissions. What do you mean by default permissions? So when you create a file, some permissions, the permissions are automatically generated. Now if I create here touch some file plus -, so some permissions are automatically generated. The file permissions are automatically generated for this file during the creation process. So how are these values default permissions are calculated? So I created this file as a root user. So the default permissions are calculated according to this definition. Default permissions is equal to maximum ideal permissions minus umask value. So the maximum ideal permissions for a file are 666. That means read, write, read, write, read, write. And for the ideal permissions on a directory are read, write, and execute. All kinds of permissions. Read, write, execute, read, write, execute, and read, write, execute. Okay. So yeah. So now let's see, for example, so if a root user creates a file, it should be maximum ideal permissions. The default permissions are calculated like this for a file. Let's see, these are for a directory. So if a root user creates a file, so the ideal permissions, the maximum ideal permissions are 666, and the umask value of the user is 022. Let's minus it. So, and it should, if you minus it, 644. So if a root user creates a file, the permissions are 644. So let's see if this is true. So just now, as a root user, I'm logged in as a root user, and I created a file. And now you can see the default permissions that are generated on this file. Read plus write is 4 plus 2, 6, and read value is 4 and 4, 644. So that is how the default permissions are calculated.